There I am. Hi. So I'm on my walk. This is the Spruce Street Suspension Bridge in my neighborhood. It's about 100 years old. And I wanted to do a Periscope today, and this will go on YouTube or whatever on the blog. Liz, prior fat girl from the fit blogging community, recently proposed that we do a series called Mental Health Mondays. Because, and rightly so, and I hadn't really thought about it till she mentioned it, we in the wellness and fitness and health blogging community, we talk a lot about exercise, and we talk a lot about fitness, and we talk a lot about food choices, but we don't spend a lot of time talking about taking care of our mental health, which is just as important, and actually something that I do as a regular practice every day, but I didn't even realize that I don't really talk about it or share it very much. So I'll be doing a few different ones over, hey Heather, a few different things over the next few Mondays. But today I want to talk about one thing I do every single day. I guess I can take these off. It's not that glare yet. Every single day. It's helped me a lot. It's been a long time I've been doing this. And that is a practice called the Miracle Morning. I don't know if any of you have heard of it, but there's a book. There's also a website. But to be honest, the book and the website are just kind of, they're okay. They're not absolutely critically important to doing the practice. So you can start it right now if you want to, and still get a huge benefit out of it. And then later on, if you want to know more, you can read the book and that. But basically, I forget the guy's name. It made a real impression on me, can you tell? But the practice is awesome. So he uses the, oh, what do you call that? When you have a word and every letter stands for something, that thing that Gary Busey does all the time. It's not an anagram. Anagram is when you mix up the letters. Anyway, he uses the word SAVERS, S-A, acronym. Thank you, Christine, acronym. Or mnemonic device, correct. Acronyms. Everybody's like, it's an acronym. So he uses the acronym or mnemonic device, SAVERS, S-A-V-E-R-S. And so the Miracle Morning is actually a series of 6 practices done in succession. Ideally, you would do 10 minutes per segment, and so you would have an hour devoted to it. But what's cool about it is you can adjust the size of the segments. So, I mean, I almost never have an hour. I usually can do in a half an hour. I get up way before the rest of my family and do a half an hour. And but sometimes, you know, sometimes I can only do 1 minute each. And to be honest, if I have a morning where I can barely even squeeze out 6 minutes, that's a morning where I definitely need to make sure that like everything, all the cylinders are firing before I go outside, right? So the 6 segments are as follows. Hal Elrod, thank you, Heather. Hal Elrod, E-L-R-O-D. Because those of you guys watching this on YouTube, you will not see the little chat. You won't see that Heather just wrote that. So it goes like this. The first S stands for silence. So that could be just literally sitting in silence for 5 to 10 minutes. Could be meditation, could be prayer, but silence. The first segment should really be silence because it kind of sets up all the other segments. Second segment is A, which stands for affirmations. And a lot of people are very resistant to doing affirmations. And I've done them for years and years and years. And it's been my experience that if you find that you are resistant to the notion of doing affirmations, and again, that's where you say stuff like, I love myself, I'm making healthy choices today, things like that. If you find that you are very resistant to doing affirmations, probably you need them more than the rest of us. So it might feel silly at first. Like, for instance, talking to a camera when there are people running by you feels a little bit silly, but it's okay. I'm still here. So affirmations is the next segment. I tend to read affirmations from like Louise Hay because she's like the queen of affirmations. And, you know, I'll read them for 5 minutes, go over them in my mind. Then the V stands for visualization. And this is really important no matter what your goals are, whether we're talking about weight loss or fitness or career goals, really any kind of goal. And that is really to take a few minutes and say to myself, if all the things that I am considering to be obstacles, yes, if you have a mustache, it's flavor savers. So you need to come up with something for an acronym for the first half. I don't know what F would be. So affirmation, no, visualization. We're at visualization. So visualization is where you say, it's okay, is if you say, if all the things that I imagine to be an obstacle, my weight, my financial circumstances, my relationship, whatever it is that you are thinking of as an obstacle in your life, if that did not exist, if that went away, what would my life look like? What would I do? How would I go through my day? And to really paint that picture and visualize it. So visualization is super important. Definitely all the people I work with in like a coaching capacity, I'm really big on visualization, because even if your pursuit of your goal does not play out the way that you originally visualized, it's really helpful to have that image in your mind so you can identify, like, what does it feel like? You know, what am I wearing? Give it a soundtrack. So visualization is really important. And then E is exercise. Yeah, Olympic athletes do the miracle morning a lot. Tony Robbins talks about it. E is exercise. So usually for me, especially if I'm only doing a 5-minute segment, that usually means yoga and stretching. And that 5 minutes makes a huge difference. Some people do like circuits of push-ups and sit-ups and planks and whatever. So at least you get some exercise, because, 5 to 10 minutes of exercise, even if it's all you do all day, as we know, it's better than nothing. But usually what happens is, because you took those couple of minutes in the morning, I tend to be more active throughout the day. So E is exercise. R is reading. A lot of people say they don't have time to read. Margo D and I do a podcast at least twice a month where we have to read a book and then watch a movie. And so I have to read pretty much every day. And, in addition to all my normal reading that I do, I usually have a book I'm reading. Right now I'm reading, the movie's Field of Dreams. The book is called Shoeless Joe. It's a beautiful book, by the way. Loving it. It's just confusing because the movie's called something else. But anyway, some days that's the only time I have to read. And so I will read that book during that reading time. Or I might read something else. But a lot of time we don't get a lot of reading in. I remember my dad didn't read anything at all until he was in his 40s. All of a sudden he realized that he liked reading and he started doing it. So it makes a big difference. And then the last S is he uses it to stand for scribing, but I mean like journaling, taking notes. I don't usually spend the whole last segment journaling, because I keep a notebook there during all the other segments, and usually I'm kind of just jotting stuff down as I'm reading, or after I'm doing my meditation, or as I'm doing my affirmations, things that come to me. I usually journal during the other segments. So if there's a segment I skip, it's usually that one. But I know you might think I don't really have a lot of time in the morning, or my family, my kids won't let me have that time in the morning. And I will tell you that when I first started doing this, for the first maybe 3 days, I did get a little, especially from the kids, why do you have to be in there with the door closed? Da, da, da. And but after about 3 days, they started noticing wow, you're not so grumpy in the morning like you used to be, because I tend to be, I don't know about you guys, I am not a morning person. So it's hard for me to get up early and do this, but it makes a big difference. Usually when I first get up, I'm surly, bordering on homicidal. So to take these few minutes before I have any human interaction, thank you for the hearts, for to have any interaction with anybody else, I started noticing how I felt kind of bad that I was taking my worst self and greeting my family with it every morning. I kind of felt bad about that. So they have noticed a huge difference in me in the morning. And for them, it's totally worth it to wait a few minutes for happy mom to come out of the room, than having to deal with angry, surly mom all morning. So the miracle morning is something, again, you can do 1 minute increments. You don't have to do a whole hour. If you can, it's very powerful and that's great. But it's really important to take some time for our mental health every day. It's as important as choosing the right foods. It's as important as moving your body. And for instance, because I got up and I stretched a little bit, I was like, hey, I got some time to do a walk. So now I'm out doing a walk, and I may even, I'm trying to decide whether I'm going to reward myself with a special little coffee over here or not. So anyway, Mental Health Mondays. Thank you, Liz, for initiating this, and it's been fun seeing everybody's posts. And what are you guys doing for your Mental Health Monday? And how can we make that stretch through the entire week, right? Bye.